She says, how can I fight depression? Are there any verses or hadith in this regard? Yes, indeed. But before I talk about the verses and hadith, I'd like to differentiate, make distinction between psychological or psychiatric depression and the depression due to being overwhelmed with worries and so on. If it is something due to a disorder, a mental disorder, then we have to look into it from a physiological point of view and visit the proper psychiatrist and so on. Keep in mind, most antidepressants have very severe adverse effects. If it is something due to being overwhelmed with worries, there are several ahadith in this regard. The most important thing is, for both cases, is for the person to understand the purpose of life. What is the purpose of life? Why were we created? When somebody believes that life is not worth it, and I want to take my life, I want to die, I don't deserve to live, people do not deserve to live, life is not worth it, there's nothing good in life whatsoever, and keep thinking negatively, the person may end up really taking his life, or the life of his beloved ones, or living a miserable life. But when the person realizes that life is very valuable, and life actually is the best asset, the time of this life is the best asset in order to build up a treasure, a palace, a safe home and a safe haven in paradise, to live there eternally. And the harder you work in this life, the greater is the reward in the hereafter. For every second that you spend, you can increase your property in heaven by making dhikr or seeking forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or by doing something good to help others, and so on. So by being good to yourself and to those who are around you, to the entire society at large, even to birds and animals, even to plants, you really appreciate your life. That is the best way to fight depression. In many cases, when the believers were put in serious conditions, such as when they threatened them that the Meccans have gathered the Confederates and brought a lot of allies and a huge army, they're going to eliminate the Muslims. They said, فَاخْشَوْهُمْ الَّذِينَ قَالَ لَهُمُ النَّاسُ إِنَّ النَّاسَ قَدْ جَمَعُوا لَكُمْ فَاخْشَوْهُمْ فَزَادَهُمْ إِيمَانًا وَقَالُوا حَسْبُنَا اللَّهُ وَنِعْمَ الْوَكِيلُ. So the best supplication in this regard is to frequently recite حَسْبِيَ اللَّهُ وَنِعْمَ الْوَكِيلُ. Tawakkul, the true tawakkul, fights depression. To put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as it should be the best antidepressant. To rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you do your best. You not worry about the results, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not asking from you other than exerting your best effort. You live happily, you enjoy what you do. Whether you are a teacher, whether you are a worker, whether you are a janitor, whether you are a dentist or a physician, you do what you do with the intention of to serve the purpose of this life, to be a good individual, to help humanity at large, specifically your fellow Muslim brothers and sisters. When you do that, you enjoy your life. You do not take your job as a burden. What happens when you go through tests and trials? You get sick, you get a stroke, or your beloved one dies, or you get laid off. You bear that patiently, because you know it is all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He knows best what suits you most. This condition cannot be attained from nothing, with no effort. No, you have to struggle in order to earn it. In order to achieve this high rank, you have to work for it, by acquiring the proper iman, by being regular in your ibadat, by competing with others with regards to fulfilling the voluntary acts of worship, the prayers before and after the fard, the prayer at night, the duha prayer, the witr prayer, reciting much Quran, studying much Quran, and understanding its meaning, giving in its charity. That will move you into this category, the category of the believers. وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ. When you live with the Quran, that eliminates any depression. Trust me, this is for sure. As well as the dua which the Prophet ﷺ described to Abi Umama when he entered the masjid, and he had what you can call it depression. He was depressed. The Prophet ﷺ said, Mali araka mahmuma. Why are you so depressed? I see you depressed. He said, Ya Rasulallah, humum lazimatni wa duyunun ghalabatni. These are the two main reasons for depression. When one is broke and he has a lot of loans, he cannot settle. In the West, you can simply file for bankruptcy and you're off the hook. But in Islam, if you owe somebody money, you still owe them this money, you have to pay it as long as you live. Even when you die, your heirs or family members have to come up with the balance, because this is not your property, unless if the debtor or the lenders pardon you, drop it entirely or most of it or some of it. Otherwise, it's a loan you have to pay. That's why it's a ham, it's a worry. Whenever somebody is worried, cannot sleep, does not enjoy eating, does not feel secure, does not have a moment of contemplation, cannot have khushu' in the salah. So he said, shall I not teach you a few words which if you recite in the morning and in the evening, أذهب الله عنك همك وقضى عنك دينك. If you recite this dua regularly in the morning and in the evening, Allah will relieve you from your worries, remove your depression, and settle your debt. He said, certainly, Ya Rasulullah. He said, say every morning and every evening, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-hammi wal-hazan wal-ajizi wal-kasal wal-jubni wal-bukhl wa a'udhu bika min ghalabati ad-dayn wa qahri rijal. I'm not going to say the meaning. It's available in English and in other translations in the book of, or the booklet of the Fortress of the Muslim. Once again, every time I seize the opportunity to remind everybody, you have to have a copy of this booklet, keep it in your pocket, in your glove compartment, beneath your pillow, to read it, not to use it as an amulet. To try to memorize these invocations of the morning, the evening, and different occasions, in order to live happily in this life and widen your property in hereafter, insha'Allah Azza wa Jal.